Hello, hello. It's good to see everyone. Yeah, spotlight myself there. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. And can everybody hear me okay? Good, good. Thank you. Thanks for the non-verbal acknowledgement there. So I'm just gonna, and if you can double check just to make sure that you're on mute. Just want to make sure that we get everybody. And Melissa, are you in by chance? Right now. Go through the regular way, so I'm just logging in. Okay, so let me know when you're in, and I'll just give us a second, everyone. We're just okay. You're the. Hold on, don't change it yet. Make a co-host. Okay, I think. Did I do that correctly? Yeah. Okay. All right. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Super excited to be able to do this. We have a chance to do this once or twice a year, doing the ads manager walkthrough. And the first part of it is me just going through and doing the actual walkthrough itself. Now I'll let you know just straight up front, take a deep breath. If you haven't never gone in before, or if you've gone in before and it just overwhelmed you, it's like being invited it is saying recording. Yeah. So sorry, Melissa's off my shoulder here. Just we're real people. But what ends up happening though, it's like being invited to the cockpit of an airplane, and you get to see all the buttons, all the switches and knobs and everything, and it can be very overwhelming for a moment in time. And what I need you to understand is that when we go into the ads manager, it is not just made for us as small business owners. It's also made for big corporations as well as agencies, agencies that actually help businesses, help individuals. They get compensated and paid, and they have way more controls and elements in the ads manager itself that helps them navigate and help client accounts. So we are not going to touch or talk about probably about 85, 90% what's in there, because it's not really relevant to us as small business owners. And that's what I just want you to remind yourself of. Now, today is definitely going to be an overview. We're going to go kind of like not just a shallow end of the pool, but I'm going to like kind of guide you a little bit just so you're aware of like where things are and what things mean, and have a better understanding, because we see a lot of people that are brand new to Facebook ads or have not successfully navigated that area before as well. Just get into a complete overwhelmed state or confusion. And Facebook purposely does a couple other things that you will see as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, to almost shield you initially from the ads manager. They want to kind of more or less give you the easy button first, and they kind of do things in a couple layers just to get you used to and acclimated. Things that look more like maybe like an toy airplane, that like a Tonka toy airplane versus like a professional panel itself. So that's very conscious, very intentional, because on Facebook's end, and every time I say Facebook, I mean Meta in general. It's just more or less synonymous these days. From a company standpoint, the interesting thing is that the majority of the money that they make is all of us as small business owners, like all of us collectively together, not the major corporations. It's I mean, the big spends is still good for them, but it's something that all of us collectively. Now, the challenge is a lot of us don't know how to navigate all of this. Hopefully each of you had an opportunity, and you went through the 5-day ads challenge just to get an opportunity to be able to see marketing and elements differently. If you didn't do that, we still have the videos open until tomorrow night. If you're in VIP, you get lifetime access to them if you took that up earlier in the week. But make sure you go through and catch up on the videos this weekend if you haven't had a chance. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this slowly. We are going to move at a decent pace, but I really, for me and for Melissa, it's always about, can we break this down, make this common sense, make it make sense, down to earth, versus a lot of technobabble and confusion. So you're going to see spreadsheet looking things. You're going to see other elements. Just don't get overwhelmed at everything that you're going to see as we progress. We're going to start off easy and kind of work our way in. But let me share my my browser first, and let's close out of the Zoom stuff here. And what we're going to do is, of course, most of us, this is what we see on desktop, or some variation of this when we log into Facebook. And on a day-to-day basis, we are here in the news feed itself. Okay. Now, just real quick before I go in the ads manager, you'll see that you do have this right side over here. I feel like this is like the billboards on the side of the highway. Most of us ignore this area over here, but this is an advertising opportunity. There's the news feed itself. We're going to see, like, I was actually just looking at this software yesterday because I bought it back in 2017. So they're retargeting me right now to say, come back, buy this, but this is a news feed where you're going to see a lot of ads as well. And as of the recording of this, you're going to see new opportunities as well. One of which is going to be a very hot topic. I don't know exactly how it's going to be deployed, but apparently we're going to all start seeing, they've been testing it the last several years in Australia and a couple other places, but ads in groups, in Facebook groups. I think that's going to be a huge game changer in a positive and a negative way, depending on if you are the administrator of a group and or if you are just, able to leverage it. We're going to see where that's going to go. Now, can't go into deep with it right now, but I do have to caveat because Facebook is always changing, always evolving. And I just need to make sure that we all understand that we all signed up originally. This is my personal profile. And sometimes we interchange the words a little bit and it gets things really confusing. When we all signed up originally, we put in our real names. We have our originally friends only on our accounts. Now you'll see here, and maybe later on, take a look at my profile, but I leverage and use my personal profile, for business. And there's a lot of misinformation out there that you're not allowed to sell from your Facebook profile. And that's actually incorrect. Originally, when we all signed up years ago, people were signing up like Paul's Plumbing on a profile account or Paul's Pizzeria. And that's what Facebook didn't want. They didn't want people to sign up and create businesses as profiles years ago. And a lot of misinformation has been regurgitated over the years that you're not allowed to do business from your profile. And I'm actually going to reinforce and prove that that's not quite true as well, because there's so many things that are changing. I know this is about just the ads manager, but I just want to walk you through some things because I think it's really important because all of us can just get overwhelmed. We don't see these opportunities and other things. So I do have a business page, which I use as my personal name as well. So you can see my avatar here. It's Melissa and I, the profile image, right? That's my personal profile. And here, I just want to be able to distinguish between the two. It looks like my profile because I use my name, my personal name, but this is really my business account. And you can see here we have 31,000 people that follow us on this account. So in the past, and that's why I'm caveating this right now, because in the past we were only able to advertise from our business page. Okay. And this is different than what I've been saying over the last several years. So Facebook is always evolving. It's always changing. Okay. So I'm going to show you something very quickly. I don't want to overwhelm or confuse you right now, but this is something that I have to say we've been leveraging it in a very big way because as a marketer, we always look at like what is changing, what can we get ahead of the crowd on before marketers screw things up, because that's what ends up happening. Whenever anything new changes in social media, marketers will run to it first. They'll gamify it, they'll figure it out and they'll leverage it, and then they'll ruin it for everybody else. Okay, so I'm throwing myself under the bus with that as well, because I definitely will lean into the new things. So. And the reason why I keep saying this, and before I go into the ads manager, something has appeared on our profiles that wasn't here before. Now, for the last several years, when you had an Instagram account, you originally had the same thing. You had a personal account. And then several years ago, Facebook's like, oh, well, we have a lot of people that are monetizing like YouTubers and other influencers. So they created what's called a creator account to allow people to have different admin functions and everything on Instagram. And then later on, they created a professional mode on Instagram. And the interesting thing is if your Instagram is set up in professional mode, you can actually create audiences from that and retarget people over there, which is pretty cool. Now, why I'm saying that is because right here, Facebook has also recently turned on what's called professional mode for profiles. Again, this is my personal profile. So we're not talking about the business page anymore. We're back on my personal profile. And this is evolving. They haven't done all the final things with this yet, but I want to show you just very quickly. If you turn your profile, if you use your profile as a business tool and marketing, on like if you have like your 25 friends or your 200 friends that you know for life, you don't have to do this. But if you're using your profile actively on Facebook, I just want to let you know, like, it's worth turning this on, because what ends up happening is after you do that, you will get a tools section here where you'll be able to see analytics, like how your posts are doing, what's performing, things like that. There's monetization elements that if you have decent traffic, if some of your posts, like Facebook's been paying me the last couple of months very openly. Like if I do a post and I get several hundred, comments or anything, they're giving me like $150 for that post. They're doing like a revenue share. I'm just giving you like a weird little heads up of things that are going on behind the scenes. But there's also this little button that's now on a profile, advertise. Now, what also has changed, as you'll see here, my friends list has turned into a followers list. Okay, which is very similar to if you're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere else you go, nobody has friend lists anymore. That was kind of like a MySpace thing, if you think about it. And Facebook's always restricted that to 5,000 people. As you can see here, I'm just shy of 7,000. So if you can help me get to that number, just go over and follow me. And what that does, though, is that gets rid of that restriction that we've had in the past. Now, if you're optimizing your page and you are using your profile here, I'm sorry, I keep saying page and profile synonymously, but this is the profile. If you're using this, you can optimize that cover image. You can optimize, you have an intro part here. You can see I actually have 2 links that I put there. That's not actually the link section, which is down here in your bio, because you actually have 2 sentences there. You can say anything you want about your business right there, and it's right on the top of your profile. So when people are snooping on you and looking around, and thank you, Ryan and Joe, for following. Got that notification. I think you can see that on the screen. But other elements that you have, just real quick, just little hacks, is you can actually pin a post on your profile so it stays on top. So I've been, of course, talking about everything about the ads challenge and everything this week. So whatever message I want here, I can actually pin it to the top. And we used to be able to do things over here, but that's recently changed. But those are just a couple little optimization things that you can think about. So lastly, not that you want to give Mark Zuckerberg money or anything like that, but the little blue check mark, depending on what industry you're in, that's a pay to play thing. Elon Musk created this pay to play element when he took over Twitter, which is now X. And a lot of people were mad that were influencers or celebrities or notable people. And then Facebook, of course, being the master copier that they are, instituted right after that. Now, you might internally, you might not want to give Mark Zuckerberg, whatever it is it like 15, 20 bucks? I don't remember. Maybe one of you knows, and you can put it in the thing. You can do this on Instagram as well as on Facebook, and they will charge you 2 accounts on both, but you have to upload your license, prove that you are who you are. I will say that this supposedly helps for you to be less hackable, to have your profile being hacked. That's like the value add that they sell, because they actually prove that you are who you are, and like they'll talk to you, and apparently have a direct support person to be able to talk if something does happen to your profile. I haven't seen anybody where that's been tested to this point yet or not. But what I will say from a perception standpoint, we talked about social proof this past week, that from a perception standpoint, 99% of the people that are on social media aren't caught up in all the things that we know as business owners. And even though we know that's a pay to play thing, that's off the radar for like 99% of the people. They don't know that we paid for that check mark. So there's a perceived element that comes along, like a social proof element, because what they do know is the public is over the last like 10, 15 years is you had to be a celebrity or notable in order to get that blue check mark. And so just keep that in mind, as while your peers might not be impressed and they'll just be like, oh, we know you're paying Zuckerberg money. There is a perceived authority element that comes that we'll be able to leverage for the next couple of years, because the general public is not going to go out of their way, most likely, to get that blue check mark. Now, this is your profile though, right? So what I can do here, and we're not going to go into all the advertising elements. This is going to be a bonus that we're going to add, because all this has just been changing this year. But we are going to add an unannounced bonus. I'm just letting you know that those of you that are here in the adaptive ads course, because I've been heavily leveraging the profile these days. There's a lot of things you can do beyond what I just talked about, where you can purposely, intentionally grow your followers very rapidly fast, and actually for free as well, not even paid ads. And that's something that I want to be able to share with everybody that comes into the course itself. But if you click on the icon there, the logo, what you'll see over here is you have this menu that's on the side. Not sure why that's not loading, but one of them, hopefully, if you've done any ads at all, you might see Ads Manager. If you don't see Ads Manager, you're probably going to see Ad Center. Okay. Now, Ad Center is kind of that in between. It is the easy button. It is the introduction into advertising when you haven't really done real advertising yet. Facebook gives you, again, a Tonka truck admin section to not overwhelm you and not put too many shiny objects in front of you that will get you confused. So that we're not going to be spending time there. I'm going to take you where the agencies and the pros go and everything. I just don't want you to be overwhelmed. You don't have to touch all the shiny buttons of what I'm about to dive into, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that there was a difference, that there is an Ad Center, but there's also an Ads Manager. Now, if you do not see this, what I recommend is you go into your browser and you type in business.facebook.com. So again, if you do not see Ads Manager here, type in business.facebook.com and then go there. So what'll happen now, mine forwards, and they're always changing this. So I even had to pop in about 30 minutes ago in order just to see what's changed this week. Now, by default, a lot of times you may see this, or you might see you need to set up stuff. If you've never done this before, you're going to see a whole different page. And we do go in depth with this with the bonus that we have, the Ads Quick Start program, which helps you set up all your account stuff. We're not going to be diving into that right now because that would take a little bit of time itself. You might have done some ads before, and years ago, before they did pages, they were monetizing. People could advertise from their profile account many years ago. And that's why by default, when I'm coming into here, because it's like has all these errors and messages and stuff, it's because this is actually by default here. This is set up as a default personal ad account. Now, if I click here, see more ad accounts, now I'm actually seeing a business that I have set up called Internet Marketing Biz LLC. That's our business. And under that, we used to do photography and locally. Then we had Pro Photographers, which was our brand, where we taught photographers how to do business and marketing and everything many years ago. But our current business, so these are inactive for us. But you see there's this personal name, Paul Pruitt, and under it's a Paul Pruitt. So if you have never set up a business account in the Ads Manager before, you're probably only going to see this choice, and you might see a choice to create a business. So I can't go into detail as far as how to go through and create a business right now, because that in itself would take the hour that we're spending together. So I'm just going to by default go into an active account here, and this little dashboard right here, we used to not default to this. Now, what I will say is, some of you, if you go to business.facebook.com, you might not see what I'm seeing right now. And what I'm going to click on a couple things, and don't worry about what I'm clicking on right now. I just want to kind of emulate what you might be seeing. You might be seeing something called Meta Business Suite. Some of you might be seeing that as a default. So what I'm going to do is just click that, because I know that was there. So I'm just going to click here. You may or may not see exactly something like this, but you might see a variation or version of Meta Business Suite. This is, again, so there's Ad Center, and then in between that is Meta Business Suite, and then there's the Ads Manager. So if you do see this and you're like, Paul, I can't get to where you're going, This is not intuitive whatsoever. So follow me. Now, can you see my cursor at the bottom? Because I didn't from a screen share. Just, can you guys see where I'm pointing right now? Okay, thank you. So thank you for the visual cues. So if it's not intuitive at all, it says help, right? So if you click on help, you're going to see this says go to business manager. That is not intuitive whatsoever. Now, when I click it, it takes me right there. Now, sometimes people will get a warning that'll pop up that'll say, like, are you sure? And just say yes and just go through there. Sometimes there's a couple clicks. I'm not seeing those clicks, so I can't demonstrate it right now, but look to see if you see those clicks at all. So now inside of this area, okay, we were, again, there's the business suite. I'm going to get rid of that. A moment ago, I was in this little default thing. You could potentially be seeing this. This is the confusing thing. So this is the panel if you go to business.facebook.com. Okay. So what's interesting is where they're defaulting things is adsmanager.facebook.com. That used to not be a thing. So it's, you might see this or you might see this. Doesn't matter either way, because there's a flyout menu on both of these. And this one will pop out if you hover over it. And essentially, we're going to be able to get to the same things. Okay. Now, what we're not going to spend time on as much, I'm going to use this flyout because it's a little bit easier. What we're not going to spend as much time on today is business settings. But what I will tell you is that if you have never set anything up before and you're just setting it up, you want to go in here because this is where you're going to create assets. And it'll take you a little bit of time to be able to set this up. But right now you might have your business page, again, not your profile, but your business pages. You are the owner personally. You are the owner unless you give the company that you just created ownership of the page. And that sounds a little bit tricky, but you would do that inside of here. So again, I'm in my business right now, the Internet Marketing Biz, and it owns these pages right here. Does that make sense? And I apologize if this is going a little faster, a little confusing for any of you. After you set these things up in your life, you won't have to worry about ever thinking about those elements again. Just things end up working. But what I want to share with you real quick, and let me see if I can screen share a different way, just so I can guide you on this, is everything that we have on Facebook is its own asset. Let me see if we can get this to work and get it to focus. Okay, I think that's going to be as close as we're going to get to focusing. Okay, so we have our profile. Okay, but separate from our profile, we have our business page. Now, technically behind the scenes, even though we have a name for the business page, it has its own ID. Okay, it's its own asset as far as Facebook is concerned. Same with our profile, but we're going down this line here. Now, what ends up happening, though, is originally when we set a business page up, the owner of the business page is the profile itself. Okay. Now, what has happened over time, because of people creating an industry of agencies and everything, is because before, back in the past, only a profile could modify a business page or do ads from it and everything. But now there's this whole other industry where other people help people with their ads, help people with their pages. They hire VAs and all this other stuff, right? So what you're going to do at some point is you're going to create a business entity inside of the business manager. And again, if you've never done it before, you have your personal profile. So mine's Paul Pruitt. And we just showed you a minute ago, we had Internet Marketing Biz. That was my business. So what I have to do is inside that business account, I have to give myself permission to own that page so that this account can control it. So it has its own ID number, and it'll walk you through, or we can help you step by step between myself and James if you come into the adaptive marketing program with us, the Facebook ads course. Now, what also happens, different assets, so that's business pages. We're going to create, we're not doing it right now, but if you haven't done before, you're going to create an ad account. Okay. Now you can have multiple pages, you can have multiple ad accounts. Okay. So within the ad accounts, they have their own IDs as well. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that the business owns the ad account, the business owns the page. So now, because that business owns the page and the ad account, it can serve ads from that page. I'm hoping this makes sense. I'm trying to make something highly technical. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Now, at some point, you've heard of the Facebook pixel. And the Facebook pixel is not a real like physical thing in the world. It's just a little snippet of code that tracks all of us. And whether we like it or not, it has its own ID as well. And if you haven't created it yet, you're going to create it. And guess what? Guess who's going to own it? The business is going to own it, because all these things have to be associated. Because what's really interesting, and I'm just going to touch on this for a second, we're not going to go in advanced strategies right now, but that's me personally, right? But let's say I had a friend, Sam, and Sam had the same audience, and Sam's like, hey, Paul, I know you had all those people go to Ads Challenge. I have something else that would be perfect for those people. Could you share your Facebook pixel with me? I can actually do that. I can share my Facebook pixel with Sam. I can give Sam access. If Sam was or let's just make these different names. If Bob was an ads manager, I can give Bob access to my ad account to run my ads for me. If June was a social media manager, I can give her access to my business page. So I can give different levels of access to everything or just one thing. Okay. But we have to make sure, like, each of these things we have to create, and they all have to be owned, because like I can't just go access your Facebook pixel and get your data without your permission, right? I can't just like pop in and start posting on your page. That's something you have access to. So each of these things from the beginning are owned by you. But what we need to do is, if you haven't set up a business yet, in the business manager, you're going to want to do that. You'll see a button in the middle of the screen, and it'll basically force you to go through and create all the things that'll, like, your address, the name of the company, and all those details. But I just want to let you know, because I need you to understand that there's this hierarchy as far as different assets that you personally can create. But what we want to do is have the business create it. We want the business to own it. So let me go back over to this as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to a couple pieces over here. So later on, if you're playing around, and again, if you come over here and do a flyout, you're going to see basically the same things. These are just shortcuts. If I click here and go to all tools, I'll see like a bigger list of things, which is exactly the same thing as if I click this little hamburger thing here with the 3 lines. I'll see the same thing. Okay. So we have actually the ads manager itself. That's actually where we go in to create campaigns, to create ads. And that's where we're going to spend the bulk of our time today. I just want you to make you aware of a couple other sections here. So we have audiences. Okay. So in audiences, and I just clicked for ours, we have a lot of, you'll hear a reference a lot of times of custom audiences or lookalike audiences. Okay. So as an example here, I have PLF 2023 Paul Pruitt opt-in list. Okay. So this is a CSV file that I uploaded. Now, just before us doing this launch with Ads Challenge, we were one of the top affiliates for Jeff Walker's product launch formula. It's a program in the internet marketing space that gets promoted, and we were an affiliate. So we had landing pages, lead magnets, other things that we created in advance to lead people into that launch. Even though it was somebody else's launch, we leveraged that opportunity for our own opt-ins, our own opportunities to build our email list during that period of time. So what it did is, when we had all those people that came into our opt-ins, we then uploaded that list of emails up into Facebook, just to give you an example. Here, earlier in the year, I did a webinar called the AI Advantage webinar. And you can see here, opt-in thank you page. So that's showing that I put a Facebook pixel code on the thank you page of the opt-in. And then I was able to create an audience based on people that not just went on the landing page, but they ended up on the opt-in page, on the thank you page itself. So I just want to show you like a couple of real examples that's going here. I have my leads and buyers list. So this is a combination of everybody that's in our CRM system, which is approximately, well, it's a little over 20,000 people that are in that list. I just want to show you a couple examples of things that we have in here. But how you would create this, if you see here, it says create audience. And then you see custom audience and you see lookalike audience. I'll talk about lookalike in a second. But if you create custom audience, Facebook has to have a source. Again, we talked about earlier in the week in Ads Challenge, you need to have an audience. Like we need a starting point. Now there's targeting we can do generically if you don't have your own source yet. But if you have your Facebook pixel on your website, or blog or whatever you have, you potentially have people that have been tracked if you set everything up properly, and you can actually create an audience based on the people that went to either your website or to specific pages. If you have a client list, you can upload email and phone numbers into Facebook as a custom audience, and you can either advertise directly to those people, or you can do that lookalike audience. So actually look at the list and go, oh, what do these people have in common? There's other elements here. We're not going to talk about apps. If you're creating apps out in the world and you have download IDs and all this other stuff, or you're selling things, through like an Etsy store or Shopify, and you have a catalog, or if you have a real world location, there's offline elements as well. People walking into your storefront and everything. They see this says your sources. So this is everything that's off Facebook. Okay. And I keep saying Facebook, Meta these days. Now, this is everything that's on Meta. Okay. So people watch certain videos that are on your business page. I'm waiting for it to turn to the professional profile patiently. That's going to be a big game changer when that happens. There's what's called a lead form. That's a very specific type of ad that Facebook allows you to do, where people can opt in while staying on Facebook versus going to your website. And when that happens, Facebook can track that better than if somebody leaves Facebook. Instant experience is almost like people visiting a website, but really it's not your website. It emulates a website experience, but it's on Facebook. So Facebook can track that better. These are some of the elements that Facebook has created to combat the iOS update stuff, because anything that stays on platform, they can control. This is the future right here. This is kind of scary. AR experience. So that's virtual reality. It's augmented reality experience. So we're going to be able to advertise while people are going through the metaverse in the future. I have not played around with that in shopping. We don't spend as much time. Your Instagram account, we talked about earlier on. Events, that's specifically if you created Facebook events, your Facebook page. And again, listings, like if you're doing catalogs or selling things online. Now, all of these means that you're tracking something that somebody already did. Okay. This is not us trying to find new people. This would technically be like warm audience people. They either touched your website, watched a video from you, engaged in something that you've put out into the world. And if you have enough of those people, you can create an audience with those people. And if you have that, so think about it, I can upload my 20,000 people email list in here, and then I can serve an ad to whichever emails and telephone numbers are matched to that person's Facebook account. Now, it's not ever 100% match, just so you know. They're depending on your industry or the people you attract. Like some of you probably are using your AOL account or your Hotmail account from like 15 years ago. But that's not the current email that you probably use in opt-in forms these days. So Facebook might not actually associate when you put in your, Sam at, samsmith.com, like that's not going to link up to, skateboarder guy 24 at AOL.com that you might be logging in still on your, Facebook account. But Facebook or Meta has done a really good job of figuring out who everybody is. So this is the audience section. So the only way you can create a lookalike audience is you have to have a source audience already. That means one of these things that's already created. People that have already had video views, people that went to your website already, people that interacted on your pages or your profile, not your profile, but your Instagram account or your Facebook account. And what you're doing is you want to create an audience that looks similar to the people that did a thing already. Okay. So I'm hoping that makes sense. We'll be able to take questions at the end, and I can go in a little bit for you. I don't want to go deep into weeds. If any of you are like, hey, can you help me install the Facebook pixel today? Like that's going to be a little bit more complex, but anything to walk through, things that we cover, I'll be able to help you out. So the other element that we're going to go into for today is the campaigns section itself. Now, in here, this is the switchboard that I was talking about. This can be overwhelming, seeing a lot of different elements that are all over the place. Just very quickly, this is just me making sure I'm picking the right business, the right entity that I want to talk about. So you see that the business name is Internet Marketing Biz, but Internet Marketing Biz has 3 ad accounts: has photography, has profitographers, and it has Internet Marketing Biz. I recommend that you don't use the same naming structures like that, because the ad account's the same name as my business name, and it just makes it a little bit confusing there. But that actually is the ad account itself, and because I'm clicking on that, I can see the ads that are being ran and everything here. Now, in here, this just has a couple things I'll pull out real quick. You have a search function right here. So if you just want to find like an old ad or a campaign you did very quickly, you can base that on keyword search instead of you scrolling. You have here a time frame that you can look at results. Sometimes people are like, I don't know what's wrong with my ad. It's not running, or it's not doing anything. Sometimes they have these dates set on the wrong dates, and then it's not showing them like today's data because they forgot that they set these dates for like 2 weeks ago. They were checking something out and they're like, I don't know what's wrong. My ad's running and it's taking money on my account, but I don't see any numbers. That's the most common problem that we see there. Now in here, there's just like the pages and the pixels that I talked about before, there is a hierarchy, and this is where a lot of people mess up because they don't understand. But there's 3 different levels here. We have campaigns, we have what are called ad sets, and we have what are called ads. Okay. And all of this gets created the moment that we click this green button right here. Now, what I'm going to do is just to go back to the second camera again. Just give me a second. So you have your ad account. Okay. And inside your ad account, you're going to create a campaign. Okay. So with that campaign, though, you could have many campaigns. I could even actively, I could be running a whole bunch of different types of campaigns. It doesn't necessarily just have to be one. So I'm just going to put 3 little C's right here. Now, inside of a campaign, and the campaign itself, what we're doing is we had to pick what's called the objective. Like, what's the purpose behind this ad? What do we want this ad to do for us? And we'll go involved with that in a couple minutes, and this will make sense. I just want to at least like sketch this out for you initially. But the main core piece, there's some other elements too, but the main core piece is like, what's the reason, what's the purpose behind this ad? What do you want to achieve? What's the outcome that you want? Now, from that, inside of that campaign, and knowing like what you want to accomplish, there is the next layer is an ad set. Now, there's other elements of what I'm talking about, but I'm trying to keep this simple. Is inside of this would be typically, and this is not absolute, but one of the elements would be like, what is your budget? For the ads that'll be underneath this, but also who is your audience, and placements. So the ad set controls, there's some exceptions, but in general, this covers the budgeting, the audience as far as targeting, and also the placements. Like, where do we want to see that on the right side of the screen, like we were showing earlier on in the news feed? Do we want to see it on Instagram? Do you want to see it in Reels? Do you want to see it in stories? Like, where do you want this ad to go? But all of that's controlled at this level. Now, here's the interesting thing. When you do a campaign, and in this case, let's just say that we want to get people to watch a video. So this is video views. Okay. So our purpose is we want people to watch a certain video. Now, inside of that, like that's the objective. We want Facebook to optimize this ad to get people to watch a certain video that we have. Now, and this could be traffic. This could be like getting people to your website. It could be any reason. Like, what is the purpose? That because that's a different part of the audience Facebook's going to go after, depending on what you choose right there. Now, what ends up happening though is you could have an ad set that maybe you're going to spend $20 a day, and you're going after moms, and you want this to be in the news feed. Now, inside that same campaign that you want to get video views, you don't have to have just one ad set. You can have as many as you want. It doesn't have to be just this one ad set. You can have another one over here that's like, hey, because maybe you're going after parents, but this one's going to really drive into the moms, in the news feed, maybe it's a certain age group, but over here, you're trying to go after the dads. And you're also spending $20 a day, and maybe the news feed as well. But you have a different video you're going to show the dads than you want to show the moms. Does that make sense? So you can target, even though you have the same objective in this campaign, you can do multiple ad sets. A lot of people don't know that. When they create ads, they think it's one campaign, one ad set, one ad. And you can have multiple ad sets inside of one campaign. You can have multiple ads inside of one ad set. But again, all the ad sets doing, that's controlling how much money you're spending, who that audience is, like who you're targeting, and where you want that specific ad to be placed. Because we can hone all this down and just make it that instead of just a newsfeed, maybe it's just stories, or it's just reels. And you are going to then put a video that's going to be optimized for reels. And then over here, you could do the same targeting, same budget, but then you're doing one for the newsfeed. And that image or that video that you're doing is optimized. It's a different ratio, and it's laid out better. So in this ad set, just going through this example though, you're going to create an ad, the actual ad itself. So the ad is going to have the visual element. Is it a video? In this case, it's a video or photo. It's going to have a description. It's where you can give long and wordy as far as what you want to say. It's going to have a call to action, or just consider it a headline. And that call to action, because you could tell people just, hey, watch the video. You could tell them to go to your website, so this is where you have the ability to put in a www blah, 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 website. So this is all the elements that are in your ad copy itself. Now, again, in this ad set, we could have ad 1, we could have ad 2, we could add ad 3. We could have as many ads as we want inside of this one. Okay. Again, a lot of people think when they go to create one, because that's by default, that's what happens when you go to create an ad, is you create a campaign, and then it naturally pushes you to create an ad set, and then it takes you down to create an ad. And then people are like, okay, I like it. And they click push, and they have one campaign, one ad set, one ad. Now, if you want to keep it really simple initially, that's exactly. Now, I will tell you, as far as when you know more, what's definitely you're going to do is you're going to do testing, because this might not be the perfect ad. The visual might be off, the call to action might be off. There's other elements, you could end up paying 3, 4, 5, 20 times more money to get the result you want, because all this stuff wasn't optimized, because you didn't do any testing. Same thing up here. You might have actually targeted the wrong audience. You could have done something and it's oop, here you went after soccer moms, and over here you can go after parents of teenagers. And one could optimize and do better than the other one. One could cost you 3, 4 times the amount of money, and the other one could cost you a fraction. Same exact ad. You can put the same ad in both ad sets and actually just test the audiences if you wanted to. So it's a little bit more advanced, but I just at least wanted to show you here that we're going to have campaign level, ad set level, ad level. Okay. So now when I go in, and we're just going to go through and create I'll take you through an existing ad, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So those of you that were going through the ads challenge yesterday, I did a live training on AI for ads. So what I decided to do is I took my audience. I'm not sure if any of you are seeing the ad or not, but I was just like, you know what, I'm going to loop people back. They're already a warm audience. They're already in my world. And I'm just looping people back to watch. So if you see this says active, and just to look at this one, this is a one-liner dashboard right here. That's a default. And if you scroll back and forth, you'll be able to see different statistics and everything. But right, just real quick, it's active. This ad has reached 15,000 people. The frequency is 1.1. See this ad down here, the frequency was 3.96. That means the average person in this audience saw the ad 4 times. And in this audience, with this ad running, they saw it on average 1 time. Okay. Now, these particular ads I did are what I call reach ads. And that just means it's not doing any optimization per se. It's just like showing as many people in the audience as possible the ad that I want them to see. So for per 1,000 people reached, it cost me $12.39. Facebook's not guaranteeing anybody's going to click, anybody's going to do anything. So you can see from September the 1st until today, I've spent $10,319 in Facebook ads. Okay. This is showing me cost per click, like for this particular ad. And this one I just started running again yesterday through today, and it's the weekend. So it's costing me, it cost me $3 per click on people going over to watch that particular ad itself. So and just to kind of show you here, like over the last 3 years that it keeps in this account. Let's see. Let me scroll back. So I've spent $171,000 in Facebook ads on this particular account here. So we spend money. We're a small business, just like you guys. We're not spending that per month or anything like that, but we are investing in spending. But we've made, in the last 3 years, we've made millions of dollars. So it's like it's a good return on investment. But I just want to show you, like we are not just teaching Facebook ad stuff, like we actually do it ourselves. So now what I'm going to do here is I have this one checked off, the one that's currently running right this second. And what I'm going to do, actually, let me show you one that I know has some variations here. This launch lead magnets, I believe, has some. So what I'm going to do is, since I have that checked off, if I click here, I'm going to see that I have one ad set that's inside. So again, because it's selected, that's all it isolates. That's all I see. If I click ads, you'll see what I had at that time is I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ads that were running inside of that ad set at the time. And as you can see over here, like cost per click, there's a difference between like this one costing $1.13 versus the lowest price one, 64 cents. Like it's almost half the amount of money it cost us to get a click for that one than it did for that one. So like these are ones that you look at and you want to optimize, like, oh, I'm going to turn that off because that's not getting me the result that I want. Now there's different decisions that were made at that exact moment in time, but I just wanted to share an example. So the objective in this one, since it is showing per result, this one says per click. This was a traffic campaign. This is a traffic campaign that we did. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this campaign up and show you some of the elements here. So if you see here visually, this is almost like a old school syllabus or outline that we've seen. You can see the indents here. So this is the campaign on top. That's all the way over here. If you had multiple ad sets, you'd see these little 4 little squares. And with this, I try to make sure I name things properly. So that's very key. Your naming structure can be very confusing. They default and they'll just put random naming structures in here, and then you won't be able to tell what anything is. But it's very clear. This is the launch debrief worksheet. This is the launch list builder ad. Each of these is telling me exactly what it is when I'm going in and performing. Now, we're not going to go in deep on every element. This was a campaign that already happened, so some things can't be adjusted. But here, if you're in special categories, and what I mean by that is if you do employment, real estate, credit, things like that, social issues, politics. You have some restrictions these days when it comes to doing ads, and you have to abide by that. If you're not in any of those industries, then you don't have to worry about that section whatsoever. But there's certain things that get locked down on being able to create audiences and targeting and stuff these days. They just don't want the polarization. They also don't want you to break fair housing laws or employment laws, things like that. Now, we're not going to dive in. Well, I can, you know what, let me just start an ad from scratch just so you can see this. So if we create an ad from scratch, now from the video that I showed in Ads Challenge, this visually has changed, and I still kept it because I want you to refer back to it if you went through Ads Challenge, because how they used to have it, they showed the 3 different stages that they take people through. And what they realize is that 99% of the people are not marketers, and they don't understand those 3 stages. So what Facebook did this past year is it all functions the same. All the objectives function the same in the marketer's map, but what it is they just now place them in different buckets. So if you hover over, you'll see like this awareness one. If you see here on the right side, it's good for reach, brand awareness, video views, store location awareness. If I hover over this, clicks, landing page views, Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, calls, Instagram followers. You hover over this, it gives you video, and again, you'll see it repeat it in some ways. So it's like, okay, I had awareness over here and engagement here, but it also shows video views again. So they're putting it where, oh, I want people to watch a video. Oh, well, we better put video views over here in engagement, because that's what this person's thinking that it should be in. Leads, that's pretty obvious. You want people to contact you and give you their information. We're not diving into apps, but you can see there it's app installs or events like people actually using. And sales, this is, if you've ever heard a reference conversion ads, typically for conversion ads, you would spend time here in leads and some time, and also here in sales. And that's where you're looking for people to actually make a purchase. Now, you want to know what is the end result that you want. This is very important. This is where a lot of people mess up. A lot of people mess up because they think they're smarter than Facebook. And they're like, oh, I'm going to try to get cheaper, people to do a thing. I really want them to click and go to my website, but I'm going to do video views. Well, here's the reality. Facebook knows what all of us have a habit of doing in advance. All of us have habits. We are clickers, we're video viewers, we are likers and commenters. Like, they know the habits that we have. They know what we're predictable, like what we're most likely going to do next. So when you pick that objective, we have to understand is when you're doing a video view, Facebook's going to show the ad to people that are part of the audience that you have, part of the audience that are most likely going to watch the video. And then as people do watch it in the audience, they'll start learning more. Oh, it's this part of the audience that really likes to watch your video and what it's doing and saying. So we'll show it to more people inside of this audience that are just like the people that have watched it. Now, if you want a traffic campaign, it's going to show the ad to people initially that Facebook knows have a habit of clicking off of Facebook. Now, does that make them a buyer? No, it makes them a clicker. And I need you to understand that. Like, some of us are in habits, because you know how it is. Melissa's mom is a commenter. We can put anything and Melissa's mom's going to comment on that post. It can be something that's completely irrelevant. She knows nothing about it. She will still comment. She'll still love it. She'll still engage in it. Does that make her a buyer? Does that make her a purchaser? Does that make her somebody that would opt into my thing? Nope. It makes her a commenter, a liker. So I just need you to understand is that when Facebook doesn't really know what our thing is. It does use some AI these days that makes it a little bit smarter, but it doesn't know what we're trying to sell. It doesn't know who we are. It doesn't know what our product is. It's just optimizing. It's algorithms that are just optimizing. Hey, these 5 people clicked the link and you wanted link clickers. And now we're looking at these 5 people and they kind of have these elements in common between each other. They all 5 like the same pages. They're in the same Facebook groups. They all went to Starbucks yesterday. Like, they're looking at all these data points, and then they're going to start showing the ad to more people that are similar to them, because they'll probably get more people just like them to click the link, right? So you want to be really clear on the purpose, the reason behind And that's so vitally key. That's why I'm like spending extra time on it, just to reinforce to you guys. So let's just say we are going to do, just to keep this simple, we are going to do a traffic campaign. So we want people to go to our website. So I'm just going to click on, again, so now it knows the purpose of what we're doing. And now you see here, the name is new traffic campaign. That's pretty generic. So for right now though, because I don't want to confuse it with any, we're just going to do testing. That way I know to delete this later on. So in here, by default, it's an auction, that's put in here. The campaign objective that we already selected is traffic. Before you submit this, you can change it. You can come here and change your mind on it. In each section, there's always this little extra hidden part that you can expand and do different things. So here you can create a role as far as, I don't want to spend more money than this in the total campaign. Now that's really for agencies. It's like, okay, our client gave us a budget of X amount of dollars. So no matter what happens, we got to make sure we don't overspend or that money's coming out of our pocket. You're going to control in other places. You don't have to do it here. Now, this is where, if you are doing what's called A/B testing, can't cover that in detail today, but I just want to let you know, we talked about it in the ads challenge on day 5, is you only want to test one thing at a time, test one variable at a time. If you change 5 different things, you're not going to be able to know really what the result is, what made the difference between 2 things. Advantage budget. Not going to touch this in right now, but if you do click on that, you'll be able to control the budget up on this level right now. But I recommend at the gate is just to start initially doing the budget on this level. Now I can click the next down here in the corner. But what I'm doing is now I'm in the ad set level, and you see really nice names, new traffic ad set. So if you do not change these, you're going to have a whole bunch of ad sets that say new traffic ad set on them. And you're not going to know one from the other in the future if you want to go back to an old campaign. So make sure you change this as well. Right. So what is the goal? There's different pieces of traffic. Do I want to go to website? Do I want them to go to my app? Do I want to have them open up their Messenger app, your WhatsApp, Instagram, start a conversation? Do I want to send them to my Instagram profile? Do I want them to click a button and their phone will start ringing to my office? Like what do I want? So in this case, we're just going to leave it here. And here, optimizing. What do you want most of? Do you want the main number of people that are going to click and willing to click? Or people that are actually hitting the landing page, like an actual view on your landing page itself? Because you'll get a lot of clicks and some people go, oops, I didn't mean to do that. And they'll back off. And what it'll do is Facebook will start paying attention. Who are the people that are actually hanging on your actual landing page, or just people that are clicking? That little difference is a different person. Just understand that. Like the default is not that. By default, you don't have to put anything in here as far as the cost per result. But if you were working on a budget, you can put it. But the moment you stick something in here, Facebook's going to throttle. It's an auction. So Facebook's always going to try to get you the best deal, but it's all a competitive thing. If suddenly you're paying like $30 every time somebody clicks because everything's not optimized that well and it's not performing, your money could be gobbled up. Like if you did $100 total, it could get gobbled up after 3 clicks, and then you're done. So you can set a limit here, but I recommend that you don't initially. And again, it's estimating. Now, Facebook gives these estimates over here. It knows pretty well, like about how many people it'll serve the ad to. And if everything's optimized, it'll actually serve it to more people for the money. That's the irony. It'll actually cost you less money per result if your ad copy and your audience, we talk about the 3 pillars, the alignment. If all those things are lined up properly, you'll actually spend less money and get more results from Facebook. And if things are out of line, you're going to give Facebook way more money because the quality of what you're sending out is not as good. And that means more people have to see your thing in order to do the action that you want. It'll actually cost you more money if your messaging and your audience alignment is not aligned well with whatever the offer, the call to action is. Now, Facebook really can't guarantee this because it doesn't know how people are going to react. It doesn't, like right now, we didn't put an image in, we didn't put a copy. This is just an algorithm, like giving an estimated guess on average. But again, if your ad copy's off and what you're asking for is off and your audience selection's off, like it's going to be like no good. And it's not going to be what you think. Like, oh, Facebook promised me I'm going to get 38 to 121 clicks, and I only got 3. Woo, something's really off with everything. We need to look at that, right? You can control your daily budget here. You can do lifetime budget as well. And that opens up some scheduling things that you can do. I'm not going to go as deep on that right now, but this is your throttle piece right here. You can put in whatever number you want, and Facebook won't spend above that number. And again, you can have a start and end point. I do that on some of mine, where maybe I'm doing closed cart, for instance, for us, our closed cart's on Tuesday night to come in on adaptive Facebook ads course, where we go in all this more strategically in more detail and lay everything out and help you with your actual ads, itself. And then we look at the results with you. But it's something that, do I want to, in the middle of the night, midnight Pacific time, I'm on the East Coast, do I want to be there right next to my computer to be like, oh, the cart closed at midnight, I need to turn my ads off so I'm not wasting any money? I don't want a whole bunch of traffic to still go to the cart if it's not. No, I can sit here, I can put in the day and the time that I want the ad to immediately stop. Now, you can also schedule the start time. So maybe you have an event that you're advertising in 2 weeks from now, and you want to get everything approved ahead of time and have everything just sitting here. You can go ahead and create the ads right now. You don't have to wait until the 11th hour. And we recommend actually you don't wait until the 11th hour. So this is where the custom audience are. We were in that audience section earlier on. And if I click here and just wait a second, here's all my custom audiences. So I can start going through and pulling all them in and stacking them inside here. So you can do more than one. You can also exclude audiences. A lot of people don't see these buttons, these exclude. So maybe you have past clients of the thing you're trying to sell and you don't want them to see the ad. You can exclude that group if you want to. Here, as far as the locations, you can put as many areas as you want. You can even put postal zip codes. You can put cities and towns. You can even grab a drop and put a pin drop over where you want to go as well. So whatever, we're not zoomed in enough for me to do that right this second, but whatever you want to do, you can control that. You can pull that pin down to about a half-mile radius. So I can go right over top of a convention center or a business if I wanted to with that pin drop, if you wanted to. So, but you can put all the states or the locations that you want. This can have multiple, not just the one. You can also click here and exclude a location as well, if you wanted to. So in here, age. So if you're selling like alcohol, you better do 21 and older. Just be aware you don't want to waste money on, and this is something you want to look at later on when you're running your ads, because you'll find that certain age groups will, be more aligned with your ad copy and your visuals than other age groups. And you probably could be spending 3, 4, 5, 10 times the amount of money hitting the wrong age group with your ad. And you might want to tighten that down instead of it being wide open. So you have genders, you have detailed interests. This is where you would come in. And there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of interests in demographic information. So I'll give you an example. Recently engaged. Okay. So I can target a couple that has been recently engaged within the last 3 months. Like that's how ninja I can get. Like if I had, we used to use this when I had photography services, photographing weddings many years ago. We can basically own the person's news feed. Engaged shoppers are people that have actually on Facebook clicked the call to action button, shop now, within the last week. So think about that. Somebody that actually went and purchased something off of social media the past week. This little section here means it will bend the rules up here if you allow Facebook to do it, if they feel like another part of the audience is willing to do the thing that you want them to do, but you might have miscalculated on your targeting itself. And then I was talking about earlier on placements. By default, Facebook's like, hey, we'll optimize and place where we think your ad should go, where your people are, or you can click on manual, and then you can pick Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, Audience Network. Audience Network is all the websites and apps that are out in the world that have partnerships with Facebook. So if somebody goes to their favorite like app, like Candy Crush or something like that, you see the ads in between the levels, and or it could be like their favorite news website or websites like Medium or others. So they're in reading their stock report somewhere, your ad could be showing up off of Facebook, but it's still relevant to them because it's still they're still targeted. But you can go in individually and say, yep, I want the feeds. I don't want my thing on Reels. I don't want to be in streams. I don't want to be on search results. I don't want to be in apps. Like you can even in any of these, you can go even deeper. Like, yep, I want Instagram stories, but nowhere else. So you can go in here and dive in and go as detailed as you want as far as placements, right? So when you have that done, then you can click on next. And when you come into the ad, again, generic ad here. So testing ad. And then in here, this is where if you did click placements for Instagram and Facebook, both of these will pop up and you can pick which we talked about earlier on, like the business has to own the ad account itself, and it also has to own the Facebook page. So this is where you get to select the Facebook page you want the ad to serve from and the Instagram account that you want to serve the ad from. So each of those assets need to be set up. Now, here in the ad setup, you can either do an existing post that's kind of like a quasi, it's not exactly, but quasi like, hey, I already, kind of like if any of you done a boosted post before. The boost we don't recommend in general, but from inside here, you can actually pick an existing post that's on your business page that you've done. And it has all this targeting, all this budgeting, it has all the details from inside here, but you can actually pick that up from your page instead of creating something from scratch inside here. But if we were to do just an ad and manually upload it, what we would do is we would come down. There's some other elements here that are a little deeper, but for the sake of time, I know we're way over right now, but you come in here, add an image. So for instance, this is the image from yesterday. I did a square format. As you can see, that's not optimized for the choices that I picked. And this is not optimized for the choices that I picked. So there's going to be like this dead area around these images. That's why it would be good to do different ad sets for very specific placements, as an example. But it'll still take those, and it's going to show me a preview of what that ad looks like. And then I can come in here, primary text. That's where you can put the bulk of your information here, your headline. The description, it's interesting because some people skip over primary text thinking like the description where they put all the stuff. So everything that's above this image, it's blank right now, there's nothing there, but that's actually the primary text up here. What is the description is actually this little tiny, you can see if you have a button, you're only gonna get like 2 or 3 words right here underneath the headline. You can barely see anything at all. Now, what's interesting is if you have ad copy and you start putting it in here, Facebook now has AI tapped into this, and it'll auto-populate for other, based on the text that you put in, it'll auto-populate for other choices where you can just click and add 4 more variations of the ad. We typically, you can see here it says 1 of 5, because inside of this ad itself, it can do what's called dynamic creative. And it can, instead of just having one primary text, maybe you're going to say the same thing like 3 or 4 different ways. And you can put, after you create one here, you can add another one, add another one, add another one. And and you can do the same thing here with headlines. And it also does suggestions, which is their AI as well. Now, you don't have to have a button right here. Some people are button clickers. They see the button, they're like, oh yeah, learn more. And sometimes the button doesn't say what you need it to say. But you would come in here, and these are the choices that they have. No button, and then if none of these make sense or they're not really clear, then I would recommend that you do no button and just be very clear on your call to action. So it's interesting because in the real world, a headline is normally up at the top. And then you normally have a supporting text, like a subheadline, then you have body copy, and somewhere along the lines of visual. So really what you want to think about is You see here, I have copy inside of the ad on the visual itself that calls and pulls attention. Years ago, you used to get penalized for this, and they got rid of that 20% text rule. You used to not be able to put any text on images years ago. And they changed that a couple years ago, where you don't get penalized for it anymore. Because there used to be an app that you'd have to install, and it would tell you like this ad's going to get either throttled or not approved because it had too much text on it. And then down here, we talked about the instant experiences earlier. That would take you more time to build out. We show how to do it fully inside of the course, but that's where you can actually create on platform like a website experience that has all the call to actions, images, videos, bullet points, other things. But Facebook can collect more data on those people, and you can retarget them better because Facebook actually knows everything that they did because it's actually on Facebook versus the moment people leave Facebook. Sometimes that data does not get back to Facebook these days. But here we would put our website. This is where I put theadschallenge.com or whatever it is in here. And if it's a real long stringy URL and it looks kind of messy, you can override it by just putting the root URL right here. And that's all it'll display. It won't display the / blah, 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 blah. I'll just do a nice clean link right here. We're not doing a call or WhatsApp or event, but if we activate them on the other, we would be able to choose one of these. Again, coming back to Facebook tracking everything so we can create an audience later on. You see here, it says web events. This is why we need to have the ownership of the ad account to be associated with the page and Instagram account as well as the pixel, because here it's showing with a little green dot that this is an active pixel and it's associated. And so if somebody clicks this or somebody goes to the website, it's assigned to that pixel. Everything's working. It all communicates together so I can create new custom audiences based on people taking those actions and everything. So that was kind of quick, but I just ran through everything just to give you a high level overview. Now I will say is after you push publish, sometimes it doesn't all get uploaded properly. And that'll happen right here by default, is if you actually might do it. Okay, so one of the elements was not pushed up here because it has errors because I didn't complete it. So if you see here, review and publish. So if you think you submitted your ad and you didn't realize it over here, you had to click here and there's an error because we actually didn't create an ad. So it has a problem with it. That I would have to create all the assets, which we're not going to do right this second. I'm just going to discard those things. So we got rid of everything we just kind of went through a little bit. Now, we just hovered through things in the past hour pretty quickly. Hopefully you got some perspective or some elements out of what we went through. Just want to remind you just real quick, and then I'll take any questions that you guys have, is keep in mind is that by tonight, looks like we have a little under 12 hours away, is we do have our enrollment for the full-blown Facebook ads course. It's the original naming structure called Adaptive. Our entire company has all of our programs with that umbrella name of Adaptive, but this is our specific Facebook, Instagram course itself. If you head over to adaptivecourse.com, Melissa, I'm not sure if you have that or if you can put that in the chat, but you'll see some of the case studies, people that we work with, and I feel like people, because we're very intimate with everybody, so we know everybody personally these days. But if you want to get unstuck, if you are struggle with Facebook ads and you can't figure it out, I'm just letting you know there's people that are making money every single day of the week with paid ads because they're amplifying the right message with the right offer in front of the right audience. And that's what we do all the time ourselves. But a lot of us don't have the marketing background or the extra set of eyes to look and say, hey, oh, that audience, I would not do that. Oh, that extra targeting you're putting in there is going to send your ad to the wrong people. And that's why it's not going to work. It could be some simple little nuance, but just by us being involved and helping you out, I won't go through this every single element here, but just know is that we take you from the ground up to help you with that trifecta, the audience, the offer, and the messaging, so that all of them are triple effect lined up. So not only will we help you with ads, but also with your social, your normal organic social. It'll help make sure that we're attracting the right people, that you're getting the right followers. Because I'd rather you have fewer people in your world that are the right fit than to have a bunch of junk like a bunch of people and just from a vanity metric that are not right aligned with your offer. If you've gone through the Ads Challenge with us, then you witness a little bit of the high level version of the marketer's map. But each of the lessons, we actually dive in very deep to understand the different stages people are at. Because I showed you that custom audience earlier on, like we can purposely guide people step by step in the process to go from complete strangers into raving clients because they virtually raised their hand. They did the next step. And then because they did that, the second ad shows up or the third ad shows up. And it just guides them into the right people into the offer and that offer could be anything. It could be for them to sign up for a quiz. It could be for them to come to a storefront. It could be them to inquire. We showed earlier on either to message you or to call you or to reach out and submit an application. It could be them buying a course or a membership or an opt-in. Like there's different levels. And have you seen any of our ads? You've seen things that we've been doing ourselves. Again, we talked about the mental triggers, the psychology element, to make sure your ads are saying the right thing at the right time, because you can really easily turn people off. And then we go through what we did is a high level today. We can go through and actually talk about how to map all this out ahead of time. So you have your ad copy, you know the right targeting before we even touch the ads manager. This is about getting everything created in advance. So you're very intentional, very purposeful. So you know that this ad's going to do this job. And if people do this one action, we know this other ad's going to do its secondary job to make people go and follow through on the next step itself. So, and we talk all things audience, because this is where a lot of people mess up, especially when it comes into Facebook itself, is you're looking at like a blank page, like everybody or nobody, like how do I find my people? And there's a lot of cool ninja things that we learned through the years that and the cool thing is like we hang out in very high-end masterminds with like we just came back from Austin just a couple of days ago, and we're one of the few people in the room that was not an agency owner. One of our good friends, Scott, he is an agency owner that does over $100 million a year. He's the #1 Shopify agency in the world. And he's a good friend that we can tap into as far as what's changing, what they're seeing in trends. Like he himself, not even the clients he does, but he himself spends $76,000 a month in ads himself. And this is like the brain trust that we hang out with and that we learn from and sharpen our saw, like what's changing, what's evolving, what's the trends. And we're able to shortcut a lot of, so there's no trial and error or bumps in the road or wasting money on your end. We're able to help shortcut and help you guys. So this program is a 6-week program. We do weekly Zoom, just like the Zoom here, but it would be more of a 2-way conversation versus me presenting, because you can go through the course at your own pace, but then each week I'll take any questions that you have. Also brought one of our team members on from one of our coaching programs, James. He works for an agency full-time for a living. He's in people's accounts every single day of the week. He's actually a previous student of ours. He went through our course and became a raving fan of ours. And then years later, we hired him in as one of our coaches because he knows the adaptive method. He knows the marketer's map and everything that we do, like the back of his hand. I'd say in a way he knows it better than I do because he's using it on a daily basis with a lot of clients on a daily basis. But we have another thing called Fix It Friday. So I have my Zoom calls over 6 weeks, but also he's on every single Friday during the course period, the 6 weeks. So if you do not have things set up that we covered today, if you've never placed an ad before, if you've never done an audience before, if you never set up a pixel before, if you have spaghetti there and it's all messed up and screwed up and you don't know what to do and you need somebody to help you delete things or make sense of it all or clean it up, every single Friday, James is on the call on Zoom to help it on Fix It Fridays. And through our experience the last several years, we know that about 2 to 3 weeks in, everybody will have their major problems fixed. And his calls will turn more into strategy sessions. He'll help you place ads. He'll guide you as far as looking at split testing if you want to do that. Looking at the statistics, like see like if your ads are performing or not, or at least help you get up to the point where everything's cleaned up and perfect. So whenever you're ready to do ads, that you can just walk right in, you know exactly what to do. So we have 2 calls every single week. We have mine and we also has his as well. There's 2 different ways to get access to the course. One on the left-hand side is to come in through the course specifically, and that's James and I supporting it. The 6 modules, you get lifetime access to this version of the course. And what I mean by this version is what happens is module 6, I have to update a couple times a year because Facebook is constantly changing, constantly changing. Everything else before that is strategy and tactics that you'll be able to implement and use, but it's at module 6. We will, right as I'm teaching through the course, I will go in and re-record the lessons of anything that has changed in the last couple of months to make sure that it's fresh, up to date, like what's going on right now, because a lot of things have changed. And so you'll get that version of the course as long as Melissa and I are alive and in business, and we have people from 2015 that are still accessing courses from us that we created since then till now. So the second way, and again, that's either $397, you pay $397 today, and then scattered out 2 other payments 30 days apart, or pay in full and save a few dollars. The second version is we do have a high-end coaching program. It's a 1-year commitment. It starts at $497 per month for 12 months, or you save money if you pay annually. But over there, we have over 51 or 52 hours per month of coaching calls. So several calls every day of the week, Monday through Friday. And that includes our 5 copywriter coaches. Copywriters actually do copy for a living. You can actually tap into their brain trust. They can look at your lead magnets, look at your opt-in pages, look at your email copy, look at your ads, look at your landing pages, your sales pages, and give you immediate feedback on what to change, what to rearrange, what to optimize. We also have 2 digital marketers. There's James, but we also have Verna. We have a secondary. And we have two people in there that, and both of them do 2 calls a week in the program. And we also have 2 tech coaches as well. So if you have Entreport, if you have ClickFunnels, if you have Kartra, Kajabi, if you have MailChimp, Zapier, anything that you have that you're stuck when it comes to tech because you just can't figure it out, they'll help you and guide you step by step on their calls to put all the pieces together so everything works versus being stuck. So we don't ever have more than 100 people ever in that program. We max out at 100. And I believe we're at 70 or 71 people right this second. We will only open up during this promotion. We'll only open up to 10 additional people coming in. We already have 4 of those spots already taken as of before this call. So I don't know if anybody else has come in since that. I'm pretty sure just at the rate that we're going, we'll get all 10 spots filled by Tuesday night. But just and again, if you come into Adaptive Marketing Program, that's the 1-year program, you get all the coaching and all the support. You actually get access to all the courses that we do, not just the Facebook ads course, but you can not just these calls, but you can actually go to the extra calls that we have that are supporting the course during the 6 weeks as well. And you can go through, we have fast action bonuses that end tonight. So I just talked about a high level earlier on, but tomorrow you don't have to be live. There'll be a recording of it if you come in for the fast action bonus. But I'm doing a private stream tomorrow similar to this on Zoom, where I'm going to show you all the tactics of what all the agencies and what everybody's doing behind the scenes to beat the iOS update these days, which is making it harder for people to retarget and track people. There's a lot of things that are, once anything changes, the mass majority of the people are like, throw the arms up in the air, like, oh, things aren't the way it used to be, I give up. And then there's the smart marketers that are over here go, okay, the rules changed. A lot of competition just disappeared because they're crying that things aren't the way they used to be. I'm going to lean into the new opportunity. Where do I need to look where I wasn't looking before? Where can we gain this? Where can we take advantage of this opportunity? So there, you can still track just about every single person you want to. There's just new creative ways of doing it. Now on Monday, also I'm going to be doing a leveraging AI for ads. I did a high level training yesterday on it, but we're doing a full blown deeper version of it on Monday. Again, you don't have to make it live. You get, and we'll have more advanced prompts, what we call power prompts. They'll be able to help you out everything from audience, again, the avatar elements to be able to leverage all the way through to ad copy creation as well in that. And then this is a bonus that we don't offer too often because I'm very protective of my time. In order to get a one-on-one with me, typically I take up to 3 people at any point in time. for private coaching. It's normally 2 hours per month, and that's $4,000 a month with a minimum of a 3-month commitment. And it's something I'm very protective of my time. So this is a 30-minute call anytime during the 6 weeks. You can pick my brain on anything, whether it deals with the course or Facebook ads specifically, or if you want to pick my brain about any element about your business, or anything that you're struggling or going through, you'll have that opportunity. And it's not a discovery call, just so you know. That is not me trying to pitch you to come into the programs or anything like that. 100% will show up to give you value during that period of time. That is not a disguised discovery call, because some people do that. I won't go through all the other bonuses that we have here, but we have the templates, we have the packs and things like that. You can jump over. I think Melissa might have put the information in there. So if you have questions about this, or if you have questions about what I just kind of covered today, feel free to let me know. Just comment in here if you have any questions, because I might not have seen. Just do hashtag question, that way you can see. And then I'm not sure if you guys are automatically able to come off mute or not. And if there isn't any questions, that's awesome too. But I just want to help you guys out if any of you have any questions right now. See, this is like a first at a buffet thing. Somebody just has to have a first question, and then everybody else lines up typically behind. But if we're good, I try to be as thorough as possible. I think we're good then. Is there any questions that happened earlier on?
I think you answered questions, but just real quick.
So, Melissa's off camera.
I have a question.
If I could just show you, though, she's like sprawled out on the floor right now. She's normally in a chair. She's like just hanging out with the dog on the floor.
I said
Oh, yeah.
that was restricted, so
Okay.
just was curious. I don't. That was the thing he said. I don't
Yeah.
know if you can speak to that.
Yeah. So there's a number of reasons why an account would be restricted. So there's not 100%, you know, guarantee that we can help you get it unrestricted, but we have a lot of contact links and contacts, and sometimes I can push through a big agency friend that we know to potentially get a return email or call. But it takes a little bit of time, and sometimes we can get them done, but sometimes it takes a month or two to get that untwined. But it all depends on what the restriction is. There is a link, and I can just post in the Facebook. Are you in one of the Facebook groups? I think you are. Because I can send you a link to at least look at the health of your account, and it should tell you why. I'm hoping it should tell you why your account was disabled. I will tell you that, 1 second. Also, I'm going to go ahead and bring this just so we can have this. So as far as where to find the pixel information, if we go into all tools, we're going to go in here into Events Manager. And inside of Events Manager, what you're going to do, and we're going to click here where it says Connect Data Sources. And if you click on Connect Data Sources, this one here, Web, you're going to click on that and click Connect. I'm not going to do that right now because it'll create another pixel in my account. But the next step after this, you'll actually put a name to the pixel, and then after you click that, there'll be a page. Maybe I can force. Oh, am I not showing my screen? Oh, okay. You guys are just staring at me. This is awesome. Thank you. So let me start back over here. Hold on, give me a second, guys. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, no, this is what happens. We get to the Q&A, and when you're a little tired, you forget to share screen, stuff like that. We can get there. Let me try that again. Can you guys see the screen? Okay. So what I did is I went into all tools. I clicked on Events Manager. And after you click on Events Manager, you're going to see that there's this green little, because they've moved this around like 5 different times. So it's not that intuitive. But because if I click on data sources, I can actually see my different pixels, but I can't really create one. But if you click here, Connect Data Sources, it'll throw this pop up. And again, if you're doing offline stuff, you have a CRM, so if you have like MailChimp or something like that, like you can, and other things, you can set up direct sources. And it'll do, if you have a WordPress plugin, it'll do it automatically. But if you come here, if you're going to do it manually, you're going to check this off and click connect. I'm not going to do it because it'll create a new pixel for me. But if you click that, it'll do a pop-up that'll give you, hey, name your data source, and then you'll put in a name for it. And then when you click submit, it'll actually create a new pixel for you. And then from there, you'll be able to get the code and be able to put it on your website. But if I don't want to have a whole bunch of, because once you create a pixel, you can't remove it. So like
you
I have
create
one here that's a testing one that I did that with. And if you have WordPress or you're a little bit more advanced or have a developer, you can do what's called a conversion API that's more advanced. But in here, you'll be able to grab your pixel data and everything, and be able to do. So, but that's the section where you create your pixel and get the code and everything.
Great. So you create one for say a particular website, and then you create a separate one for MailChimp.
Well, no, I don't want to. I don't know this is where it's dangerous of us having this Q&A right now. You only need one pixel per account.
Right.
And then you can take that number and put it on a series. Like I have our pixel on 20 something different assets, different websites, different locations, things like that. You don't need multiple pixels. So don't go and create multiple pixels. That'll just create spaghetti, because each of them will track independently something totally different. And that'll be harder to get them to combine and to do conversions and other things for you later on. So you're only going to create one pixel and just go around. It's just that some people are a little bit more advanced, or they have somebody that's going to do it for them, and that's the web function. And some people have things where they have certain software that'll automatically import the pixel information in, and they do the other option. You normally wouldn't click multiples of those. So I'm sorry if I misled you there.
So I create a web pixel, and then I use that on the ticketing site, and I use the same web pixel for MailChimp.
Correct. Yep.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. All right. Well, I think we're good. I think I'm gonna jump off right now and hang out and grab some dinner with Melissa and David and the little guy here that's off the side. He's starting to move, so I think he knows that I'm finishing up now. So if you have any questions about the adaptive ads course and or ads challenge, if you're in the VIP group, feel free to ask. But otherwise, thank you for allowing me to come in over the weekend, overlap our time. That's the #1 resource that we cannot get back ever. And thank you for sharing it with us this afternoon. Hopefully we were able to help you out in some way. So hope you have a great and wonderful weekend. And for those of you that this makes sense, we look forward to working with you on the inside and helping you set all the things up, get clarity, make it all simple, amplify so that you can make the ROI similar that our other students and individuals we've helped out with as well. So it's great to see each and every one of you. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.